Okay, go.
Ja, guten Tag. Welcome to episode 9 of Helmut Washak Fest Graduates. Joining me today is David, and my name is Kevin. And our very special guest today, standing at 6'3". We met him almost 15 years ago now, I want to say. 10 years ago, I want to say.
8 years ago.
8 years ago, I want to say. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nicholas Mead.
Hello.
Sorry about that intro, boys. I might have to run it back, that intro.
Come on, Kev. We're not trying to...
It's severing time.
We're trying to start a franchise over here. But anyways, how are you, Nicholas Mead?
I'm good, thanks.
How do you feel? Thanks for coming on.
It's my first time.
Yeah. So what was your reasoning for wanting to come on today? I'm very curious.
Well, I don't know. You invited me.
No, I'm glad you came on. Do you want to go through how we go through it every week, Kev?
Yeah.
How
sure.
did you meet Nicky?
So, do you remember? Is Max your cousin or your?
That's a bit
is he?
racist.
Well, I guess yeah. I would say cousin. I'll call him a cousin. Yeah.
Well, me and your cousin used to play PS3 Call of Duty all the time, and you would sometimes hop on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd never met you like in person, so I would always known you as your PlayStation gamer tag, which was Prone Wow.
Yep.
So when you first came to our high school, I've never seen you, and the first thing I said when I walked up to you was, "Hey, are you Prone Whale?"
Is that how high your voice was?
Yeah, pretty accurate.
And you were like, "Yeah," and then I said, "Oh, I'm Asian Pride." And we shook hands, and that was it. That was our first time.
That was your gamer tag, your Asian Pride.
AZAN.
And your one is Prone Whale.
Prone Whale.
I'm surprised it wasn't China Pride at that point, but for your
Why is that?
PSN.
I'm not Chinese.
How did I meet you? I'm curious.
I met you through everyone else.
Yeah, I gotta be honest.
The funny thing is, he introduced himself as his gamer tag, but like I knew who it was.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I didn't know you were.
I didn't think we had met. We actually hadn't met in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, no.
But I remember when I met you for the first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I want to hear your.
No, I gotta be honest, man. I think every guest that we're gonna have on here, besides probably my own girlfriend, is the only one that I'm gonna remember how I met them. Because I don't even remember how I met you. So, can you give me your? I think it's sorry, bro. It's actually that way. Yeah. What's your back rundown of how you met me? Because I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Well, from what I remember, it was my first day, and I was in Kev's homeroom. I don't know which. I think you were in a different homeroom.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was like I hadn't met the rest of the boys until recess.
Oh.
And so that's when I started meeting everyone else. And Max was in. Were you in Max's homeroom?
No, I
Okay,
don't
well,
think so.
I was waiting to link up with Max because he was like the actual only guy I knew. So anyway, I'm meeting
And so
everyone
you
else.
met this guy before me.
Yeah. Well, no, I knew Max
Okay.
before.
There's a lot.
But
Yeah.
I think in our homeroom it was just you and Alex.
Jin and EJ as well. I'm pretty sure.
Was it? No, EJ wasn't in there.
I'm pretty sure he was.
Well, maybe he was. But either way, like I hadn't met the rest of the group.
Yeah.
So anyway, it comes to recess, and anyway, like I haven't met you, and people asking me, "Hey, where do you live? Where you located?" I said, well, I live in Caroline Springs," and then everyone knows that you're from Caroline Springs, so everyone started saying, "Hey, David, hey, this guy's from Caroline Springs," and then everyone was like, "Hey, you should go to his house, David," and then you just turn around and you're like, I'm not gonna go to his house. I was like, oh man, this guy's savage.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't remember.
It's just
that.
fitting in with your bullying,
character.
your bullying character.
Oh man, I don't want to. I'm not that guy, but I don't remember.
That was my
That's so
first
cute.
interaction with you.
From my memory, like I just remember you being really tall. That's it. Yeah. And like around recess you came, and because that's when our last guest, you guys all came as a bunch, like all the Mowbray kids. So you're originally from Mowbray, right?
Yeah. I was one of those kids.
So what happened to Mowbray? Just another rundown. Why are we doing a moment of silence
again for Mowbray?
Well, long story short, there were like over $10 million in debt. And from I think there's a lot of stories, but from what I heard,
yeah.
So Mowbray had a Mowbray had a sister school in China.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had,
Sister factory, you mean?
there's a sister school in China which Mowbray was funding.
Yeah.
And apparently there was a guy on the board that was, what's that called when is it embezzling?
Okay.
Embezzling money? I don't know.
No, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well, he was putting money
Concubine.
Into his
into his own account, like offshore account, rather than giving it all to the school. And apparently no one found out until they were like millions of dollars in debt. And then next thing you know, it was closing.
Wait, so is Mowbray
sus Chinese,
originally
man.
from China then?
No,
These sus Chinese, man.
So you're Chinese.
no, Mowbray was like an Australian school,
Yeah.
but they were just supporting a Chinese school for whatever reason.
Supporting communists, huh?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Goes that far back.
And what was your I'm curious, like what was your like impressions of when you started the company Heathdale? Like when Mowbray shut down, we were like, man, this is like such a good school, and then now all my mates are coming down, like going to another school.
Well, it was weird because it was, so it closed halfway through year 9. And at the start of year 9, a bunch of my friends already started leaving the school. So it was kind of like, the vibes were already going a bit down.
Maybe
at
they
school.
knew something ahead of you.
All the Chinese left.
I'm not even kidding. Like a lot of Asian people left. Yeah. So a lot of people were leaving.
Yeah.
So by the time it closed, it was kind of like, where are you going to go? And most people went to the schools around CS. But for whatever reason, I think because I knew Max and our families knew each other, our parents were kind of like, just apply to Heathdale. And then we applied to Heathdale first, and then they were the first ones to get back to us.
So if it wasn't for Max, you wouldn't have gone to
Nah,
Heathdale
I wouldn't
for
have,
sure.
would have never met you guys.
Man.
Damn. Oh, we would have met. We met on.
Oh,
We
yeah.
would have been virtual friends.
Yeah.
You know who else you wouldn't have met if you never went to Heathdale?
Oh, no.
Who is it?
Our friend Sandeep over here. So we've got some presents for you. This is a photo of you and Sandeep.
Maybe sure.
Well, yeah, show
We'll,
the viewers.
Yeah, we'll put this
Leave it
on
on
the
that.
YouTube vid for you.
I'm gonna bring it close.
You're giving me PTSD.
So a bit of context. In year 12, we had our own common room.
Look at Nicky's face. He's liking it.
And we built a wrestling ring with couches.
Let me get a good look at that.
And we had a nice tournament going on, and one of the matches was obviously Nicky versus Sandeep.
Yeah.
And that photo is of Sandeep Nicky getting manhandled, choked, whatever other words you want to use by
And
Sandeep.
Just heads up for those who don't know who Sandeep is. It is basically this student. We didn't know where he came from, and we eventually found out he came from prison. And then wanted to.
I thought he just walked out of the jungle one day.
Well, either way, prison is a jungle, man.
That
you
is
know?
true,
So, and then we didn't tell Nicky that he was gonna be manhandled by this ex-prison guy. So, and then it ended up he liked
And
it.
here's a photo of Nicky doing prison things.
Where'd you get these photos from?
We gotta blow these photos up. You can't just.
Now this is me just signing autographs for my fans.
Oh.
You know, that's what that is. That one, I can't.
You know what he said in this moment? He was saying like, once we get out of this clink, I got you.
Out of this what?
Clink.
Is that
He feels the prison.
Turn around, big boy.
Wait, I gotta say that my battle with Sandeep in the ring.
Legendary.
Well, I mean, maybe to some, but man, I was fighting up like 3 weight classes to be fair.
3.
Yeah.
And then, like
Now you'd be fighting
like
up
things
8.
like that, because I'm just so curious like how the contrast of Mowbray versus like Heathdale. When he started seeing like these like cuddles and fights that we were having in the year 12 common room, we're just like, oh, these guys are a little bit zesty.
Well, no, the common room fights were fun.
Yeah.
Because like they were just lighthearted, like bit of wrestling. But yeah, like obviously it's different. I feel like if it was Mowbray, it would be
Real fight.
bare knuckle.
And knives.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you involved in anything at Mowbray?
No,
Any crazy stories?
I was a good kid. But crazy stories. I feel like probably something similar to, the organized fights. Back in, this would have been year 8.
Yeah.
It started off, it was just like a regular lunchtime, and someone brought a footy. So it started off with just our year 8s.
Yeah.
It just started off like us kicking the footy in the yard. And I guess the thing you have to know about Mowbray, the senior campus was really small, like maybe a quarter of the size, if that, of Heathdale. So I guess like that doesn't really give an image to people that didn't go to Heathdale, but it was a small school. And so anyway, it started off with just lighthearted kicking and, you know, you tackle your friends and whatnot between like 10 guys in our year level. And then suddenly, I think it was the year 9s, like they tried to steal the ball. So then suddenly it became year 8s versus year 9s.
So it was a year level above you guys.
Yeah, they stole the ball.
That's my ball.
So then we started chasing them.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, the year 10s got involved and they stole it. So now there's like...
3 year level.
Yeah, and then it started off with 10 guys from our year level. All of a sudden, it's like every boy in our year level against every boy in the year level above. And it went up, I'm pretty sure it went up to the year 12. So it was pretty much like maybe even year 7s jumped in. But year 8s all the way to year 12. And it was just, you only passed the ball to your own year level. Like in that moment, it didn't matter who was friends or who wasn't. Like you were just, your team was your year level. And it became massive and the teachers had to come and stop it because like it was pretty much
People were just tackling everyone.
Yeah, it was really rough. It was like a brawl. Yeah.
You can only have the ball for like 1 second and there's like 3-4 guys trying to tackle you already.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably even a tame story.
That is a very tame story.
It's probably $20 ball.
Yeah.
Your whole school.
Yeah.
We never had any year level beefs like from the year level above.
Oh, we had beef in our own year level.
Yeah.
With you.
Oh, what was this?
Well, someone accused you of stealing $200 from the locker.
Yeah, can you run down the story?
Oh, well,
Because-
yeah. I mean, I'm going to run down the story to clear my name.
Yeah, clear your name. Here we go.
That's what I'm going to do.
Is he coming soon, by the way?
We'll see. But this is my defendant, and he's gonna give his testimony.
I'm the judge.
Yeah. So this is the situation. In year 12, someone stole $200. The victim was Maria, and the accused is my defendant here, Nicholas Mead. So please stand up to the stand and
Here.
give your
Okay,
story.
well, all I'm going to say is...
Alright, don't get that, please.
It's all right. It's all right.
From me, please. I'm trying to defend you here.
Well, I think you guys mentioned part of the story already. Like, it was Maria, apparently she brought in like 200 cash.
Yeah.
And it was in her locker. And then, was it lunchtime that it was
I know
found out?
you stole it. You should know.
Okay.
You're the judge. You got to stay impartial.
sorry.
Come on, man.
Accuse me.
You might have stolen it.
Well, you killed him. What are you talking
Okay,
about?
well, I'll say from my memory. From my memory, it was lunchtime. I feel like it was lunchtime. Because when else could someone steal it? So I'll say lunchtime. We come back in, and then there's commotion that Maria lost $200 that was in her locker. And I didn't know anything about it. And I just so happened to walk into the common room at that time that they were talking about it. And one of our guys, Tivy, just so happened to be there. And I think the fact that my name is Nick, or like people would call me Nick at high school.
Yeah.
I think
It rhymes with-
it just rhymes with his saying that I nicked it, meaning I stole it. And he just ran with the joke. And I think it started off as a joke, like everyone was laughing, but it happened. It was for the rest of the year. Every single morning, every time I walk into the common room, he would say, "Oh, there he is. He nicked it." And I think it got to the point where maybe if you do it for a week or two, it's a joke.
Yeah.
But then after the 2 weeks, people started asking questions. People started like really thinking, "Hey, this has been a while. I think he actually stole it."
And how did it make you feel that Tivy just kept saying this over and over again to you?
Oh my gosh, man, it was
do
doing my head
you
in.
want to settle anything? Like, do you want to say something to Tivy if he's watching this
I'll
podcast?
send this to him.
I mean, like,
Come meet me in the court.
nah. I mean, when I look back, I think I've said to you guys in the past, like, oh, if I see Tivy, I want to give him one on the chin. but obviously, I'm
Alright,
joking.
put that, and then we'll.
Timmy, come in.
No, because I can imagine how annoying it must have been for you that like you just like everyone knew you as this nice guy, and then oh man, so he has a pretty dark past. He steals, and $200 back then was like such a big deal.
$200 and like barely any of us worked,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like that's like a month's worth of money, honestly. But I think the thing was as well that I didn't I kind of just minded my own business back in high school. So I would talk to our group of friends. I wouldn't really talk to the girls that often. So it wasn't like, oh, I'll speak to some of the girls and be like, yeah, this guy's an idiot. He's just making crap up that I've stole the money. And because of that, it kind of screwed me over.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't defend myself to anyone.
All right. So that's it. How do you feel,
Verdict,
Judge?
I deem you non-guilty.
Yeah, I already knew. Oh, you say not guilty?
Man, you gotta wait for the jury. You gotta wait for
I
the.
was fully expecting him to just
say
throw me under the
yeah.
bus.
You gotta wait for the jury. You gotta wait for the act.
Well, they're not here. Only one person showed up for court today.
You gotta wait for Timmy to come in and say
The
his
thief
story.
is still out there. The thief is still out there.
You
I
know,
deem you non-guilty.
it would be more funnier if it was actually Tivy that stole the $200.
Well, I mean, yeah,
he was the first one there.
Yeah. Well,
So-
first one on the scene. The
Right.
first one to accuse someone.
Wait, was Maria a top locker or a bottom locker? Because it was top, like TV wouldn't be able to reach it.
Good point.
Okay. So because this is the Fresh Grads podcast, we want to kind of know your transition from like high school. Like what were your ambitions in high school? What did you want to do?
Yeah. Well, actually, before we get into it, I realized, like, before we get too much,
go.
deep into the podcast, because you guys got me a gift. I couldn't not come without a gift.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
what is it?
No, because Terry's bought gifts
Okay,
last time,
okay.
so you know I have to. I think you guys might need to get close for this one.
Oh god.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
get
curious.
a bit closer.
All right, we're gonna blow up this video.
Yeah, you probably have to edit it after for.
Show us.
Okay.
For
Alright.
What's going on here?
What is this?
So, this one's just for you guys.
What? Wait, who is this?
Just some friends.
Wait, why does it look so real?
It is real.
You friends with Tara again?
Oh yeah. He did it.
What is going on? No, obviously this is a green screen. But how did this guy have enough time?
I mean, if you want to believe it's a green screen.
All right, we're gonna have that as our intro every time. Now.
I thought I would just get you guys some promotional material. You know?
Damn, that was pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie.
This podcast is gonna be up and down, so that's not the last video we're gonna see today, and that's for sure. So, yeah,
Helmet washer.
talk about your ambition, because I have a video. Sorry, my mind's going everywhere, but I have a video that you guys don't know about, and I have to show you. That's why we have a screen now that's behind the camera, and we're gonna watch this. But anyways, Nicholas, what were your ambitions in high school? So, to give some value to the listeners, and what did you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what value I can give, but I might just waste your time, to be honest.
That's why I don't want to listen to this one.
Fast forward, everyone.
No, I mean, my ambitions in high school. I think for me, the thing is, I always wanted to be a pilot.
Yeah.
That was actually my ambition from day one. So, if you know a little bit about me, my mum, she was a flight attendant for at least all of my life, but she worked for over 30 years in an airline. So pretty much my whole life I was flying and traveling. And through her work, I met a lot of pilots. So it kind of it was just ingrained in me that I really like aviation. I was really passionate about aviation. So I wanted to be a pilot. And then I would say year 12, I still wanted to be a pilot, but year 12 is when you really have to decide what you're going to do.
That's right.
And some things happened where it kind of stopped me from pursuing it. Yeah. So I then started thinking, okay, well, what am I going to do now? And that's, to be honest, year 12, I had no clue what I was going to do. And even going into uni, I just started studying.
What did you study? I actually don't remember.
I studied sport and exercise science.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Latrobe, right?
Yeah, so I pretty much, year 12, I think when I felt like, okay, I'm not going to pursue being a pilot, what else do I like? Oh, I like sports. Okay, maybe I'll go into sports science. And I kind of just studied it because it was Asian parents, you can't not study.
That's right.
You know what I mean? You have to do something. So,
what, you want to do podcast? Get out of here. No.
Yeah, so I felt like, I don't know, the uni was cool, but to be honest, when I look back, it was kind of a bit of a waste for me. I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. And even now, I still, you know, I kind of like building out a career in what I'm doing now. But not gonna lie, like I still think about, oh, what if I pursued being a pilot, or would I still go back to pursue being a pilot?
What are you doing now, by the way?
Well, so I work in finance. I think to keep it simple, finance is like, it's really broad, but
You're the Mowbray guy.
like working in, oh yeah, it was me all along.
Yeah.
Yeah, working in banking and finance, like it's a bit of a rabbit hole to go down. So.
And like, so like when you put your preferences as like sports science, and then you studied it, did you finish?
I finished it.
Okay.
Yeah, like I had to finish what I started.
Yeah.
Because I had to have something to show for it to my mum. But man, I'll tell you, like I think, you know, back in year 12 when before you get your ATAR, you put in your preferences.
Yeah.
Man, I remember I was actually thinking about it. I remember my preferences. I think I put science down.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, okay, not aviation, but let me go down like a science path. I don't mind science. So I put down science, and I put down science at Melbourne Uni.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I remember,
Be realistic, bro.
so I put down Melbourne Uni science. I remember when I got my ATAR, it was like, oh, first thing I did.
Big uni science.
Yeah.
Start putting everything.
Yeah. Maybe not Melbourne Uni.
TAFE uni science.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I had to kind of change what I was gonna do. I had to pivot a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like your expectations in year 12, like for everyone, I think I could speak for that it's totally different to what actually happens. But what I would say is like, I'm not trying to be that guy, but it's crazy to see like your progress, because I knew that, like we both knew that you wanted to do to study aviation, but like to see like where you are now, it's awesome, man, because it's a progress. And who knows if you could actually go back into it as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's the value that I want to like let the listeners see, that even though like if you don't kind of get what you want, like, because that's why it's a fresh graduate program. I mean, fresh graduate podcast. Sign up down below. No, that like it's still works out, right? Like you don't need to stress out even if it doesn't go the way that you want to.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, you're a really lucky person, or you're really blessed if you can know what you want to do, or even like if there's something you're passionate about, and then you get to work in that field. And for me, yeah, I was passionate about aviation. While I was studying, I worked in jobs in aviation, and so I thought I would stay in aviation. But yeah, I mean, you can grow in other areas. I think.
That's right.
Like,
Yeah.
you can. I mean, I can still be passionate about aviation without actually flying a plane.
So you said you'd consider going back. What would make you go back?
I think, it's kind of like if the timing was right. It becomes complicated once you start to get older, I think.
Yeah.
More responsibility, you know, when you start building a house or you're married. And then I think the real cutoff would be, if I'm having kids.
Yeah.
Because at that point, I have to be.
You have to focus on that.
You really got to put your all in for your children when that time happens. So it would kind of, I feel like if I was going to go back, it would be, you know, when I'm around this time, when I'm like 25, 26, before things get really locked down, like I'm locked into one place. But with aviation, there's so many complications. I mean, even it would be a huge risk, I think.
To start it now.
And that's where it's interesting, because I'm somewhat comfortable in my current career.
Yeah.
But if I went to pursue being a pilot, I'd be taking a huge risk. Like I could train and study to be a pilot and spend a lot of money to do that, and then end up not even getting a job.
Not even flying or something. Yeah.
I mean, because aviation was one of the industries that got really messed up by
COVID.
By COVID. So
who knows?
It's not even really recovered yet. So it's kind of like, if things fell into place and it was like, okay, there's a real pathway, you never know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, there's so many aspects to aviation as well. Like, there's like engineering. Do you ever like consider all that, like that stuff? Or?
I actually did.
Yeah.
I did, because back when I was working, there was a time I was working part-time at Qantas while I was studying.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, yeah, what are my options? Let me suss out this engineering thing. So I remember I went up to the engineering manager's office and I just had a chat with him. And I'm like, how can I do what you do? And then, yeah, he pretty much said like, oh, here's the pathway. Like we'll do like unpaid internship for this amount of time, and then you'll go into our program, and then that was it. And then, yeah, 2 months later, COVID.
Oh.
Yeah, so I kind of threw it out the window. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. No, but you know what I'll say something about you. Like when you get something, I feel like you never like give up with that. Like you always like push through like, because for example, I know that the banking stuff gets to you sometimes, and I can see that like you always are like, oh, I need to provide for my my wife, or I need to get some money on the table. So you're always like, you have this kind of character that you're gonna push through. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think
that's a really good trait about you, man.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, yeah, I mean, you're going to sink or swim. Yeah. So there's going to be challenges with any job that you do. And yeah, I guess I get fulfillment out of the challenge of work. Like it's not always easy, and dealing with people at work and like colleagues, it can be pretty challenging.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you can really, I think that's the thing. I thought I would be in one place, and then I'm where I'm at now, and it's kind of like, yeah, you just build out a career,
right?
Work hard, and then things will come to you.
Yeah. That's
how it's been for me anyway. So.
Yeah, no, because I asked you this before just to make sure it's all right with you. Like, how do you like your dad passed like during high school? Like, how did you deal with that through, like, obviously it's not easy, but I guess because you're always talking about like you can't give value, but like I think that's like, I'm trying to say that it's such a good trait about you that would have, like, anyone would have given up during that time. So I'm just curious, like, how like your mentality through that time, and like how was it like being around us? Did it help, or not really? Did we make it for you?
No, I mean, yeah, it was a hard time.
Yeah.
Like, you can't hide that. What was I, 15 years old when my dad passed away? So we were in year 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you just had to be mentally strong. Yeah. The interesting thing is that probably not too many people know. So, it was when I was in I think it was year 8. I remember year 8, and then my parents picked us up, my sister and I, from school. Yeah. And they picked us up, and then we went to the shops, and I remember my dad in the car. He turned around and he basically told my sister and I straight up, I had a doctor's appointment, and they said I have 3 years to live. No. So I'm like 12 or 13-year-old kid, yeah, and I'm hearing that. And I remember, yeah, like as any kid would, you kind of get upset. Yeah. It's not really what you want to hear. Of course. Like, in some ways, I was used to my dad being in and out of hospital throughout my life. So right. It was kind of like, oh, my dad had an operation here or there. Like, yeah, he'll be back. Yeah. So I knew he had health complications, but then, yeah, that was the kind of like a pinpoint time where it's like, okay, they've put a timeline on your life. And so, yeah, I'm a 13 or 12 or 13-year-old kid kind of like taking that in. And I still remember my dad, he was the type of guy where he was just like a typical Aussie, just kind of like straight to the point. I feel like he tried to raise me just to be kind of
strict and like tough. Yeah.
Yeah. Like mentally tough, I think. And yeah, so obviously as any young kid would, you're kind of emotional about hearing that news. And I remember my dad, he pretty much told me not to be upset because it's happening to him. He's the one that's dying. And it's kind of like, I mean, yeah, true that.
I think that's a good parental thing to say, though. Because I think more like him trying to say, like, don't be sad because, like, it's already hard, like, for him to see, like, of course, if you're going to be sad as well. But, yeah, it's pretty...
Yeah, and I think, like, as a son, you know, it's kind of like that's the reality you're facing, and
Yeah.
I had to grow up pretty quickly in that moment. But yeah, like my dad, he just kind of, I think I got a lot of my mental toughness from him.
Yeah.
And probably having to, I guess, I had to mature a lot earlier than the people around me. So I feel like that, me saying that, it's kind of
No
like,
one believed that.
Hey,
No,
you're
of
gonna
course we
that.
believe it. Of course.
I think you know what it was, like you asked, oh, how was it being around you guys and my friends, and that was the thing. I never really had those deep conversations about, oh, this is what's going on at home with my friends, because it was kind of like, I just want to hang out with my friends. I want to be stupid and be goofy and be an idiot with you guys and friends at school. It wasn't like I wasn't trying to have a DNM and be emotional and be that type of kid.
Yeah.
You know? And I think even up until when my dad did pass away, it was like same thing. It hit me hard at home.
Right.
But then when I went to school, I don't think I showed it.
Yeah.
I think I just tried to be the same.
Yeah, you like went away for 2 weeks and then you came back, and like none of us knew like that your dad had passed. You just said like things that happened at home.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't find out until like a year later.
Yeah, well, I remember our homeroom teacher, Mr. Duncan. So obviously he had to find out.
Your favorite teacher.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so obviously as a teacher he had to find.
He had to find out. Yeah.
Yeah, so he had to find out as
Yeah.
a homeroom teacher. And I remember my first day back, he pulled me aside before we had homeroom, and then he was just like saying what you say to someone that lost someone, and then he was saying like, do you want me to announce it to the class? I was like, nah, don't do that. Because then it just gets awkward. And then I felt like if people know, then people will feel sorry for me, and then people will try and be nice to me.
Yeah.
And I mean, everyone was nice at our school, but
Were they?
no, just you. Just you weren't nice. but I didn't want anyone to treat me differently. I think that's what I was thinking. I was like, nah, I'll keep it the same.
I'll say this now. I don't think I've ever said this to you, but yeah, like your mental toughness is insane, man. Because like what Kevin was saying, you didn't show anyone, and I feel like I was the only one that knew among our friends, because I went to your dad's funeral.
Yeah, you did too.
And like when you were there, you were still like making jokes with me, if you remember. And I'm like, this guy is, and I know like, especially now, I know you weren't doing it in a way of like trying to just numb yourself, but you're doing it in a way that like, like it's happened and we just gotta like move forward with it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how you've always been. And yeah, and I think that like relates so much to like your aviation and now where you are now. And it's not a bad thing. It's honestly a good thing. And like you're a team leader at work, and yeah, your mental toughness is insane, man.
Yeah, well, I think like everyone's gonna when it comes down to losing a loved one, everyone's gonna react differently.
Yeah.
That's just how I was. I think even with my sister, it's like the way that she was reacting was polar opposite to me.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I felt like I couldn't show emotion in those times, because it's like, okay,
you have
now
to be the man.
I got to be a man of the household. Like, I know throughout the time that my dad was in the hospital, he would say things to me about like, it's just like the reality of what's happening. So you got to be the man of the household. And I felt like, I couldn't show emotion. So I like even grieving the loss of my dad, I think it was 3 years until like I actually cried.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like, you never get over it, but like I think it was 3 years until I actually cried about losing my dad. Like something triggered me at 3 years later. But I always felt like, I gotta be brave, because like if I show emotion, then I felt like, oh, my mom's gonna, she's gonna be really upset. And my mom was like MVP during that time. She was doing everything. So, but I feel like as well, it just came down to perspective that kept me positive. I remember during that time, I just kept thinking like my dad's passing was a really long drawn out thing. So he ended up in palliative care, which is kind of like, if you don't know, it's kind of like for people that have terminal illness. So like they're gonna die. It's just about making them as comfortable as they can be
Oh wow. Okay.
until they pass away.
Yeah.
So when you're in palliative care, it's like, yeah, you're going.
Yeah.
So my dad was in palliative care. I can't remember for how long, but it was a few months. And so I knew it was going to happen. And my dad, so he wasn't home for like the last 3-4 months of his life. So already at home, it felt different.
Yeah.
So I was already like adjusting to my dad not being at home. And then when he actually passed away, it was kind of like, in some ways at home, it felt the same because he wasn't there.
Yeah.
It felt like I could just go to the hospital and visit him.
Yeah.
And then when I was thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I mean, it gave me this, like, it was like a slow release of being able to realize, like, yep, this is reality. Oh, this is happening and my dad's passing away. And then he passed away. And it was kind of like, okay, I can cope with it. And I was always thinking, man, I'm pretty lucky that he passed away that way. Like a painless,
Right.
It was painless as well, right? Because
Yeah.
they just give you the.
And in a way, it's like you kind of already understanding what was gonna
It's a
happen.
lot better than passing suddenly.
Exactly. So I always felt like, man, there's people out there that, you know, they have loved ones that are completely healthy and then an accident happens and then they don't come home.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, how do you even deal with that? Because you're with them 1 minute and next minute they're gone.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, I felt like, yeah, I just had months
Yeah.
of time to just adjust and kind of come to grips with what was happening. So like, yeah, that was my perspective.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Just
Like,
try-
what do you think is like your, like besides the mental toughness thing, what's your favorite trait do you think that you got from your dad?
Oh,
Was he the funny one? Was it?
Yeah, probably my sense
think-
of humor. Like
you
he's
think
just
your mom's pretty funny too,
Yeah.
to be honest.
yeah, I mean, I think my dad's sense of humor was just like really taking the piss out of everything. Like I think when you see me not being serious about something, that's from my dad.
Yeah.
So I probably took that from him.
What about sleeping in and missing the bus every day? Who'd you take that from?
That's probably my mom. Filipino. That's the Filipino trait.
Being late to everything.
Yeah. No, that's
Because-
the Filipino blood in me.
Yeah, well, give a rundown of why this. Like, we're all friends in the bus. Wait, show the photo. Which one is it?
This one.
Yeah, as you can see, we were all friends on the bus, but there was one specific guy that we always waited for.
So a
on
bit
the
of
bus.
backstory to this too. Until maybe a year ago, I want to say, if our group wanted to hang out at 6 o'clock, we would tell Nicky 5 o'clock, or we would tell Nicky 4 o'clock,
And he arrives at 7.
and he'll still get here at like 7:30. So the reason one of the reasons all three of us are really good mates is because in high school we'd catch the bus every day.
Yeah.
And Nicky was the last person to get on, you and your sister, every day. So we would already be running late by the time we get to you because we have to wait for me or David or anyone else that comes on.
Yeah.
So at around 7:45, because your pickup would be 7:50, 7:55-ish, David is always sleeping in the morning, so he'd never get the text. And I'd always be awake. So I just hear a buzz on my phone and it'll be from you and it will say, hey, can you tell the bus to wait 5-10 minutes? Just running a bit behind, etc., etc. So I would have to walk all the way from the back to the front to sit with our bus driver and tell him to wait. And our bus driver would be very like anxious to go. And I'd have to like be there to calm him down. And just be like, he's coming soon. He just forgot something at home.
Yeah, there was no promise that I was actually
Yeah.
going to make it like within the time that I said.
And then on an occasion he wouldn't make it. You know that scene from Forrest Gump where he's running like from the fence to whatever he's doing? That would be you.
Yeah.
You just see Nicky.
Run, Nicky, run.
Dude, I was doing fasted cardio every morning like, for every day in year 12, sprinting.
Like, be honest at this point. Was there ever a time you texted Kev and you just woke up?
I feel like there was maybe 2 or 3 times. Because it got to a point where I knew how long it would take me to run from my house to the bus stop.
Every day.
Yeah. So I had it
He
down
knew
pat.
how long it would take to run, but not how long it would take to get ready for the
Yeah, that was the variable. Like you never knew. You know what? Thinking back, it's so bad because I think like, you know what? You guys know that road, but I guess to paint the picture for the listeners, it's one of those bus stops where they just added it on a random road. So there's no like actual bus stop.
That's right. Yeah.
It's just the bus would stop in the middle of the road, and it was a busy road too.
Yeah.
And our bus is like 4 meters high.
Yeah,
And
it
can
was
I
one of
add
the massive-
one more thing? So these bus stops, all right, everyone would gather to a single point where to pick people up. But conveniently, Nicky's bus stop was the closest one to his house. So it was probably like a 5-8 minute walk. But then if he's sprinting it, it's probably like 3-5 minutes.
Yeah, 3 or 4
Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it was on a busy road. But out of all of the stops, it's the closest to his house. But my guy just always arrived.
And every time you get on, you'd be like, thanks, dude.
I'm just imagining as the bus driver, like, okay, everyone's picked up. I'm getting closer to Nicky's stop, and I just feel Kev like stand up.
His
and
presence.
he's just like,
Here we go
come
again.
on, man, again. This guy's late again.
Just imagine the bus driver seeing it in his rearview mirror. He just sees you walking down the aisle. Here we go again.
And then
Here we go again.
He should do one time like. He just revs it up and then just pulls the brake, and then Kev just goes through the front.
Well, wasn't there times that he just kept going?
Yeah. There were
Yeah.
plenty of times that he just kept going.
I feel like he should have just never stopped for me looking back.
No, well, if I wasn't there, he wouldn't have. I don't reckon. Because I had to go up and be like, yeah, he's coming very soon. Yeah.
But that's a good thing. Like our school bus driver was a private school bus driver, and in a way, like you can see, like we took a photo with this guy. He cared about all of
the top
us.
guy.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
a
he was.
decent. What's his name?
Ross.
Ross.
Right,
Okay.
Ross.
yeah,
Ross the boss.
I can never forget that.
Yeah.
And he called me like Guy Sebastian. I was
You
like,
look, he said you look like Guy Sebastian. And he made a joke about you too.
Racist.
But I forgot what he said about you. He made a joke about you.
yeah, he kept saying a joke about you, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Okay, I want to bring it back to the pandemic and how you dealt with the pandemic, and I want to break this down like you as a maintenance man. So
that was a time in my life.
so like for the listeners, just give us like a rundown, like what happened during this time, and what was your favorite memory as a maintenance man.
Oh, dude. I think yeah, so it was, I guess, to go off the back of what we were saying before. So
Yeah.
I was working at the airport.
Yeah.
And I was pursuing,
Aviation.
I was pursuing that.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened. So obviously like that was everything shut. So I was there was no work to be done. So it got to a point where they were still paying me, but there was no work to be done.
Oh,
so
wow. That's pretty cool.
so for a little bit, it was just, that was really the time where we were playing a lot of games.
Yes,
online.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, we
It
were.
was just and it was still fresh in the pandemic. I think everyone was just getting used to it.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
So I wasn't doing anything. And then it got to the point where it's like, all right, it's been 2 or 3 months. I really got to start doing something. and I wasn't sure what I was going to do, because it's
Yeah.
kind of like, well, I was expecting that, any week now things will get better and I'll just go back to my job at the airport. But it kind of wasn't getting better. And then I forgot who, but someone linked me up with like the manager at Heathdale, but the Melton campus.
Yeah.
And apparently, yeah, they needed like a maintenance / gardener there.
So back to the beginning.
Yeah, back to my origin, I guess.
The origin villain story.
Looking back, it's such a random time in my life. Like, I still find it really funny that I even took that job. It's just kind of, yeah, it was kind of a random thing to do.
It
wasn't aligned with anything I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like, I know how to use tools, but it's not like I want to do that as a job.
What was your favorite memory, like being a maintenance man?
Oh man, so the Melton campus. Okay, I'll give like a real one.
Yeah.
Obviously I don't work there anymore, so I can say this story. But
Yeah, go.
pretty much the Melton campus is massive.
Yeah.
It's huge. And
Wait, is this gonna incriminate you?
nah, it's not, I don't know. If it's bad,
We'll
you
cut
got
it. We'll cut it.
Yeah. But pretty much, these kind of things I'm gonna say like.
There's the inner Mowbray coming up again.
So pretty much you got the front half is just all the classrooms and the actual like school that they've built, and then the back half is a massive athletics field, a huge, I think there's a basketball stadium with 3 courts, and then the footy oval and another random field, like another athletics field. It's really huge. But because the school only went up to like year 7 or 8, the back area wasn't used, so it would always get overgrown.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, like I would be driving this tractor,
Yeah.
mowing the grass,
Yeah.
and that was chill because I would just listen to a podcast
Music, oh, yeah.
or music all day, and then I'm just like driving this thing around, and then that's my day.
That's your memories.
And then
Yeah.
and you're just outside enjoying the weather. But the thing that wasn't the thing. The memory was, so they had this golf buggy.
Yeah.
They had this golf buggy, which is how they would get around. And the
Yeah.
thing was like, it was kind of
Oh, it's like for all the maintenance, man.
Yeah,
like
it's just-
that's like bring your tools and
yeah,
it's just
and
something
just
to get
drive the
around.
buggy.
Yep.
Yeah, and this thing was like kind of fast, so it was pretty fun to drive. And there is absolutely no one back there.
Yeah.
So around the athletics track, it was kind of like covered in gravel at that point.
Yeah.
So what I would do is I'd be just flooring it on the golf buggy, and then I would be drifting it around the track on the gravel. Yeah, and
Sounds like a episode in like GTA or something. Just pick up a random car and just drive wherever you want to go.
yeah, so that was fun. And it's kind of like, yeah, you know,
That's pretty cool.
yeah. But I mean, if they saw me doing that, I probably would have got fired.
It's all right, bro. It's in Melton.
Yeah, but I think like if I'm gonna give a real answer of like, oh, what do I think of when I think back to that time? So they were renovating a lot of the old classrooms.
Yeah.
Like the school was actually Mowbray's old campus. So this is like a real origin story. Like I actually, even when I was there, I found an old yearbook with my photo in it.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was that was funny, but pretty much a lot of the old Mowbray classrooms that were abandoned for like couple years, and then now Heathdale, they bought the campus and they're doing it up. So I was working with this other guy, and we were doing demolition to clear out all the classrooms, basically taking everything out of the classroom.
I just can't imagine you being like smashing the walls and stuff.
Yeah.
Is
I was
that what you're doing there?
Yeah, like with a sledgehammer, and you just smash everything. So I was doing that, and then it was basically to clear it out for the actual tradies to come in, like build the classroom. So when I look back, I'm like, oh yeah, because I got to see the finished product before I left.
True.
Like I got to see the actual classroom done.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that's cool. At least I contributed to that.
You're taking down the partition walls and that's what you like, right?
Yeah, and a lot of cabinetry and stuff like that. And then I remember before I left, because I think I left at the end of the year, and they had like the staff day.
Yeah.
So I actually ran into a bunch of our old teachers, and I was speaking to Mr. And then he remembered me, and then he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I was,
Oh, he sounds like that?
I'm not gonna try and copy him.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
But
You can say anything on this podcast.
But he was asking me, he was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I just kind of gave him the rundown, and then he was really encouraging. He was actually like, oh yeah, it's really good. You spent years here, and we were teaching you, and then now you come back and you give back to the school. And so I kind of left that job. I'm like, all right, yeah, I can take that. I'll take that on board.
Yeah.
So this all happened during COVID, yeah?
Yeah.
So we would always play PlayStation 4 during this time as well. And me and Yoss and David would be anticipating your Heathdale stories every time. Yeah, because we were just like, damn, this job is like so sick.
Yeah. No, I remember there was one time that they had a ute, and it had the Heathdale logo on it.
Yeah.
And then I remember I was driving past a classroom which had like those windows that have like the mirror, the privacy screening on it, so it's kind of like a mirror. Yeah. And I was driving past. I'm like, oh, hold up, I can see myself. And then I just took a photo of me in the car, and I sent it to all the guys. Like, hey, look what I'm driving.
Do you have it?
Huh?
Do you have it anywhere?
It's probably in one of our chats.
Yeah, we're gonna show this one.
Yeah. So.
You're just being surrounded by Heathdale and Mowbray
Oh, what a
for the
time!
rest of your life.
I had to get out of there.
What about the PS4 times during COVID?
Oh, what about them?
What do you want to share about them? Is there anything? Any stories
I
you
mean,
can say?
probably incriminating things.
There's
I would say.
definitely things we're gonna cut that Nicky can't include in that. But I think this is a perfect time because it aligns with the things that we would say on the PS4 days, and this video that I want to show you guys. So I'm gonna show this video, and Kevin doesn't know what it is. Nicky doesn't know what it is, but here you go. I'm just gonna show you. So
Context?
just watch it. This is the funniest video I've ever seen in my life.
You know what? Maybe I too could be ninja. I want to be ninja.
What are you doing if this chick popped up at our school?
I want to chop, 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 chow down, take chow down to Chinatown. I want to be ninja. I do karate moves with the go-go boots. I learn my ninja kicks while watching Netflix. I try to everything like on the big screen. And you guys, you know what? I might do it. I might be a ninja soon. I gonna be ninja.
What are you doing? That was your mom film.
I gonna be ninja. I gonna chop, chop, chop chow down, take chow down to Chinatown. I gonna be ninja.
That's every day.
Okay, that's it.
I want to be ninja.
So for the viewers, you guys can like match up what we did in the PS4 days, and that is all. I don't know if that makes sense. I just had to share that video today. Oh man. So to go along with the next video as well. So me and Nicky, we'd watched the most recent
Watch out.
Christopher Nolan video. I mean movie. What did you think of Oppenheimer?
I mean, yeah, I thought it was alright. Like,
Yeah. Oh really? It's not that good.
No, okay, it was good,
Mm.
but you know, so I feel like some people felt that a few things were lacking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So I don't know if you noticed, Kev, but it was such a success that they actually are starting to film number 2. Did you know that?
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
And
they
it's
nuking
pretty
this
sick.
time?
Huh?
Who they nuking this time?
I think, yeah, just because they missed out on, I don't know, some other details, but I don't know if you've seen this trailer, but we're going to show it as well. Just watch it, Kev. It's a bit of a long video, but you guys like tune in. I love it. It was such a great movie. But we'll watch this as number 2 apparently.
We imagine a future. And our imaginings horrify us. They won't fear it until they understand it. And they won't understand it
Look at the cinematography, dude.
until they've used it. Theory will take you only so far. I don't know if we can be trusted.
You gotta watch this
Where's
first
your
one though,
weapon?
Kev, before you watch this one.
But we have no choice. Is anyone ever going to tell the truth about what's happening here?
right, that's it.
That's gonna be a crazy movie.
That is insane. What do you think of that?
Yeah, it looks really good. Looks better than the first one.
So yeah, when me and Nicky went to watch this movie, for no spoilers, we didn't see a single Japanese person. So
Yeah, because they're all dead from the nuke.
we asked them to make a new movie, and apparently that one was edited by some guy named Nicholas Mead.
No, that looked professional. Definitely was. I can't do that.
What did you do?
I can't do that. That was straight off YouTube, but I can't do that.
Oh man. I don't know how we're gonna segue it into the next.
Anyway.
I just had to show these videos.
Anyway.
This is our first time showing videos, so because I'm gonna segue it, so it's not a bit dead, but what's it called? So because you're the only one that's married in our group.
Oh yeah, Nicky's married, by the way,
Here you go,
everyone.
show off the ring, Nicky.
Yeah, last year.
Oh,
Yeah. Or was it
Gang,
September?
gang.
October.
Because we were asking our last guest this. I'm curious about yourself as well. What do you think is your love language?
oh, love language.
Give me some tips.
All of them.
What is love languages again?
Quality time.
Mm-hmm.
Giving.
Nah,
words
mine's
of
physical.
affirmation.
No,
Physical touch.
Nah,
That's
mine-
probably you.
what does that mean?
I do like touching him.
So do I.
Nah, definitely quality time. That's me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's if you would do another one. So words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and
receiving
physical
gifts.
touch.
I'm gonna say service, acts of service,
Yeah.
and quality time.
And like, do you think because you're married, like let's say this is for all the single guys out there, we're gonna ask the only guy that we know that's married that's come on the podcast at least.
Yeah.
How like you dating your wife? We're not gonna say her name. Did she have all those like love languages? As in, like, did she attend to it, or did it have to adjust in a way? Like, is the perfect one? How does Kevin find the perfect one? There you go. That's the
That's the
question.
true question.
Oh, I have the answer to that.
What is that?
Buy a ticket to Thailand.
Yeah. How do you find the perfect one? Does love languages have any part in it, or what do you reckon?
It definitely does.
Yeah.
or you can just go to Thailand.
It's cheaper.
Yeah, less time consuming.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of quality time and physical touch.
Yeah. They'll physically touch you, all right?
Oh my god.
Amongst other things.
I'm gonna cut this out again. Bloody hell. Anyways, Kevin, do you have anything for Nicky? Oh, whoa. Yo,
Just talking about Thailand.
How do you deal with your wife's anger issues while you're gaming? Because I've heard a lot of conflict happens during that time.
Yeah, I mean, it's that's one.
That's
for
part
the,
of it.
That's part of it. Yeah.
out of the love.
What love language is that? Physical touch.
verbal abuse. No. No, if you know, like,
Yeah.
that's just Mario Kart. That's how it gets.
Yeah.
Gets heated.
True. Or overcooked.
Oh, overcooked. Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Do you wanna give a rundown of the first 2 times that you met Nicky's wife, Kev?
All right, so
Do you remember it?
yeah, I do. The first time we met Nicky's wife, we went out to father's office for bottomless drinks. Is that correct?
Bottomless orange juice drinks.
Yes. And the reason Shona came was because one of our mates who
Oh, yeah.
always dogs us,
Yeah.
dogged us once again. Congratulations, by the way. So
Congrats.
Nicky decided to invite Shona because we all had to meet Shona somehow.
Yeah.
Probably wasn't the best way to meet Shona, but it happened, so it happened.
That's how we know we love Nicky. He was like, you gotta see these boys getting lit.
So I have a running joke with your wife where every time I see her, I basically vomited for the first like 6 times.
Oh, my name's Kevin.
So after I saw her for like the 10th time, I started being like, oh yeah, 50%, because 50% of the time I vomited around her, and 50% of the time I didn't.
So what's it at now?
80%.
Somehow it's increasing.
Every time he sees it, he's just
Oh,
already
hey,
drunk.
Hey, Shona.
Good. I'm glad we got a camera right there. I'm gonna zoom in into your face for that one.
So yeah, first time I met her, I vomited. Second time I met her, I think I vomited too. Third time was alright. But then I feel like every time I meet one of you, like one of your girls,
Yeah.
I always end up vomiting anyway. So
So how are you going to be when you meet your girl?
I'll vomit in front of you.
It's going to be blackout.
First kiss was straight vomit.
Straight up.
Straight up as soon as you see him. Come on, you gotta hear out Nicky's advice.
I'm listening.
Come on.
What advice was I supposed to give him?
I'm listening. I've been waiting for it this whole time.
I forgot what advice I was supposed to give him.
I'm going to Thailand, and what happens there?
Oh man, I mean,
I thought you were gonna bring your girl, the inflatable.
Oh yeah, she.
how's that going? Yeah.
Oh, I put her in water, and she was supposed to grow for the first 72 hours, but she didn't end up growing. And no joke, my dad came into my room and he like took like the glass it was in. He was just like, "What the hell is this?" I didn't really say anything. So yeah, nothing happened. So I threw it out.
Yeah.
Oh, you threw it out.
Oh,
Yeah.
you threw it out.
Yeah, I threw it out.
Oh,
Bit of a usual with me.
it's a gift. You should have kept it.
Well, the gift didn't do what it was meant to do.
What was it supposed to do?
Please me.
Oh well, all right. Thanks,
All right.
guys, for listening this week. Nah. I want to ask you
Thanks for
another
the gift,
question,
by the way.
Nicky. How does it feel to be half white and half Asian?
I feel it's good because I feel like I get the pass for all
Yeah,
this
you
stuff. Like I can say stuff about Asians.
And then you can go along with the whites as well.
Yeah, like it's kind of like I can join in on the Asian jokes.
Yeah.
And then if someone pulls me up on it, and I'm half Asian, or if they're making white jokes, like I can.
So
join in
when
as well.
the pandemic happened, you're just like, them dirty Asians, dirty Greeks. And then when they're talking about like, oh, Asians are the smartest, I'm like, you're like, yeah, I know I am.
Yeah, I feel like I get the best of both worlds.
So you eat like half the rubbish, or how does that work?
That's Filipino.
Yeah, he's half.
Filipinos. Oh yeah.
So I'm half rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's only half. It's half the plate. Half is quiche. Half is a.
So what's your thoughts on spam, by the way, while we're here?
All right. Well, I like spam.
Yes, Kevin. I promise you're not gonna meet a Filipino that doesn't like spam.
Yes.
You will not find one. It's within our blood, bro.
Just like rubbish.
Yeah. No, I like spam.
I love spam.
I like dog food too.
That's the thing. It looks like dog food, but well, what if you cooked up dog food the way that spam is?
No, dog food smells though.
Like
Spam kind of smells when you open it for the
Like
first
dog
time.
food.
I don't like looking at raw spam,
Yeah,
but then when you cook it up, like it's
that's true.
fire.
I mean, it's similar to like corned beef. I don't know. That kind of looks like that's in a can as well. It smells like crap, but then when you cook it, it's like beautiful. You know. What's your favorite Filipino dish? And then what's your favorite white food?
Oh, I think my go-to filo dish is sinigang.
Oh, yep. Had
That's
that for
like
lunch yesterday.
yeah, that's always good.
What type of sinigang?
Chicken.
Chicken.
Yeah, put chicken in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've also had that one.
No, not spam.
And then your favorite Australian food? What would it be?
And you know what? I really like
McDonald's.
nah. I really like just like Australian roast.
That's the one.
Yeah. And you know what? You know what? It was only when I started dating Shona and went to her house, like her dad would cook Australian roast.
Oh, right. So bangers and mash.
Nah, no, actually no. Just usually he'll cook
Vegetables, right?
yeah, vegetables and then
Wow.
and roast
they have
potatoes.
rice?
New
They don't
Nah,
have
there's
rice.
not with roast.
Okay.
And then you cook like roast lamb or something, or beef.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
What is-
yeah,
what
when
is
I had
this-
it, I was like, dude,
Good.
This is nutritious. Like compared to the oily freaking Filipino food that I have.
You know, it's funny because I was just thinking of like when Filipinos cook roast, the first thing they put in it is pineapple.
Do we really?
Yeah, like it's gonna be like roast, and then it's gotta have something sweet with it. It's gotta be
Yeah.
glazed.
Roast
Or
cat
like-
bottles. Chicken bone.
I know that there's this Filipino dish, and yeah, it literally includes pineapple in it.
Which one is that?
I don't know the name of it, but
Pineapple fritter.
Yeah.
pineapple.
I thought he was gonna say like garbage with pineapple on top.
I've run that joke nothing to the ground. It's
Yeah.
like all the rubbish.
You got to think of something else this week, Kev. What else? What's your favorite Filipino food? There you go.
I don't know what it's called, but it's the spaghetti and sausages one.
Yeah.
Wait, so you've never been to the Philippines yet?
No, I haven't. But I assume when I do go, it'll be just like Thailand.
I think no, Philippines.
No,
is
as in I'll
different.
come home with some friends.
No, the difference because in Thailand, like, you know, they look like women. The
Yeah, I
thing is,
know.
in the Philippines, they don't hide it. Like they really,
love it.
They're really just men with makeup.
Yeah.
Once again, I know.
And
Mm.
you like it?
No answer.
What is your favorite PS4 game of all time?
Oh, favorite PS4 game.
What about the game I played with you?
Oh, that was good.
A Way Out?
Yeah, that was a fun game.
Yeah.
I played a co-op game in COVID with
Yeah.
Kev, where we had to escape prison. Yeah.
And what happened?
No, it was, I mean, I wish we recorded it because it was
Yeah,
it
we
was
should have
pretty funny.
recorded it.
But I think my ultimate game, it was one of the Uncharted series. I don't know. I don't know if I could pick one. But
Oh.
you guys remember Uncharted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uncharted. That's the one
Uncharted or Last of Us?
with. Yeah.
One of those two.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think that's what like made our group a lot closer though.
Which
Like playing games.
Yeah,
we
and then watching
non-
Chris move.
Yeah.
Oh, we're watching Super Wog.
Yeah.
We KSI, right? Like I would say we watched it, but yeah, we non-stop played games when we were in high school. It's probably our downfall to the reason
Yeah.
why we're starting this podcast.
Thanks Fortnite. Thanks 2K.
Yeah, but my favorite memories with you guys is of course like playing games. Fortnite, that was like peak when we were all playing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I remember the Fortnite. When we found the glitch to get under the map.
I have a video.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
that video. But the worst part about this video is I didn't record like the in-game sound. So all you could hear is me. Oh, yeah, Nicky, shoot it. What
You just sound like a loner.
Yeah. There's no one else. It's just me.
We weren't even playing with you. You're just imagining
You
me
shut
playing.
Island again.
It's actually we're not even here.
We're all
We're just in a room
crackheads.
with 3 microphones.
We're all crackheads. We're all crackheads at this point. Who do you think is gonna win, Elon Musk or Zuckerberg?
Oh, in the fight? Dude, Mark Zuckerberg. He actually looks fit.
What's Elon? Is he Russian?
South African.
Oh,
Elon, like, he's kind of
he's
a bit
square, man.
yeah.
Zuckerberg's
He's
so
built like
aggro,
a Elon's built like a fridge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Zuckerberg, he's actually training with MMA fighters.
Yeah, with Izzy and Joe Rogan and all
Yeah,
that.
but I don't think
though.
that.
Zuckerberg's so aggro, bro.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
is.
well,
Well, when you're a genius.
when you
gotta
have
be-
everyone.
Yeah,
as
screw you, Elon.
So he apparently Elon's changing Twitter to X. Have you heard of
well. Yeah,
that?
I saw that.
Did you hear
Don't
that?
like that.
Are you trying to be
I'm not.
Zuckerberg?
No, I hate that guy.
Is that how he was in the social network?
No, in the social network, he was a bit of a coward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of a
Mm.
It was Justin Timberlake that was like that, yeah. Who was Justin Timberlake supposed to be?
Some developer that was famous.
Screw you, Zuck.
Wrong with you? I don't know what else to ask, Kev. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, so
I
we have in our rundown something called the Kevin and Nicky beef.
Yeah.
And I don't know what this is.
Oh.
So,
I was
what's going on here?
I was gonna bring it up when we were talking about when Nicky was a maintenance man, because Nicky had some beef with you when you
I remember.
and you spat at him basically. You spat at him by saying this. this phrase. I don't really remember.
No, I remember
Yeah.
I remember it now. Yeah, it's all coming back.
Yeah, we're gonna.
You know what? Like everything that we spoke about earlier in the podcast about mental toughness and
Yeah.
like just pushing through.
That
You know, you can just maybe just delete all that because this is probably the one thing that drove me all these years. it's proving wrong. Yeah, just to prove the haters wrong.
No,
I remember. So
Yeah.
this was back when
Alright, it's my intervention.
this was back when I was working at Heathdale, and yeah, it was like every night we would play games basically. So we were talking every day on
Yeah.
chat, and then I would be telling you guys stories about my day at work and what I did,
Yeah.
and I'll probably be saying like, "Oh yeah, I was digging a hole today." and Kev would be laughing, and then he would add this comment. He's like, "Man, you've really peaked in life." And then I would laugh at it, and then I remember like sometimes I would just, when we log off, I was like, "Man, why did Kev say that?"
You agreed with it though.
And it stayed with me, and I'm like, nah, this
I'm gonna prove this guy
I was like,
wrong.
no, this can't be it. Maybe it was more like me proving to myself, like, nah, this isn't it.
It's your documentary. It starts with that. You just hear
And
Kevin's
you took
voice.
it personally, did you?
Yeah.
So Kev, why'd you say that, man? Come on,
Because I really thought he did peak in life. It's such an amazing job.
asshole, bro.
What do you mean? We were all stuck at home playing games, you know, doing other things, and then this guy gets to work.
We were all single too.
Yeah, for the school that he once
Yeah.
grew up in.
Yeah, I felt like I was a bit out of that group during that time because
You were still working, weren't you?
yeah, I was working a lot, if anything, and
Yeah, we were.
I was working too.
Were you?
I was at Woolworths.
yeah,
Oh, we all had like odd jobs.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but for me, I felt
think
out
so.
because right before COVID, I was trying to make money, and I didn't. Obviously, we didn't know COVID was gonna happen, and I sold my PS4,
Oh, I remember that. That was a sad day.
Yeah. and then all you guys just started getting on these like farming simulator games.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was a sad day when you sold it.
Uh,
But yeah, I remember those days where Kev, Yoss, and we would have played maybe until 2 or 3 a.m. the night before, and then it's like, all right, yeah, speak to you tomorrow, boys, and then go to sleep.
yeah,
Probably we all sleep in,
wake up.
and then we wake up at maybe 11 or 12, and then we message
on.
like, hey, so you guys doing anything? Not doing anything, so we just start playing again.
Those were the days.
Those were
I
some
miss
good
I
days.
miss those days. I was literally having a chat with my sister where like I miss like actually going to school. Do you ever miss that? Because in a way that was your only worry in life. Whereas now you got like so much things that you got to worry about, so much responsibilities. And for example, like you could do stuff like that where if it's school, you're like, oh, who cares about school? I'm gonna play till like 2, 3 a.m. and then maybe even skip school the next day and then play PS4 again. I don't know. Do you guys feel that way or not? Is it just me?
I just wanted to apologize. Sorry that I hurt you with that comment. I didn't think you
very
take.
mature
I
of you,
didn't think
Kev.
you'd take it like that. But let me just defend myself. At that point in my life, I really did think you peaked because the Lakers were doing well, Geelong was doing well, you were working, they were paying you very well, and yeah, that's all I have to say.
No, Kev added that fuel to the fire.
Yeah. So it was a good.
So I motivated you. With
Exactly,
that.
yeah.
you,
So
you
why should
turned the
why should I
negative.
be apologizing then?
No, don't. No.
All right, I'll take it back.
Yeah, take it back.
You know
turned
what?
it
And you
negative.
did steal that $200.
$200. I'm gonna make $2 million.
Sit down, boy.
No, I don't think I miss school. I miss being around everyone
Yeah.
because it's like every day was just, it was like this plus everyone else adding in on the jokes and like it was fun being around everyone. If I would miss one time, it was probably it would have been first and second year uni because it was like, dude,
Yeah. No homework.
Yeah.
Kind of.
because it's like, oh, we
All
would still
freedom.
see each other a lot
Yeah.
and we would still be free most of the time, but then you don't have teachers going over your back trying to get stuff
Yeah.
done. Yeah.
No, I agree. The best time would be, I reckon, the moment we finished our last exam. And that time between that and the first day we started uni.
Oh, yeah.
Because we had those like 3 months where we did just absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Oh, that's 3 months.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And we had what was our last exam? Geography.
Geography.
Oh man, good times. We've been friends for so long, eh?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
If one thing, I miss geography. Man, that class.
We did nothing in that class.
Man. And the thing was, it was like my best subject.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hear that, Mr. Lamprey?
Dude, he would have seen our scores and he would have cried again. Let's just say that.
What, in a good way or a bad way?
In a bad way.
No, man, my score was good.
Your score was good. Our scores weren't good.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think
Oh, to
I
be
passed.
fair,
I just passed with geography.
Yeah, I think so. I think I did too.
I think all my scores were just pass, except physics.
I think the thing was, geography was kind of like, it was kind of plain, but it just had good excursions. So that's why we signed up for the class.
No, because I remember I don't know if it was me that influenced you guys, but I was telling you, like, we need one subject where it's just chill. You gotta chill. And then me and this guy were doing physics, and then you and him were doing methods as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. What was it?
Wait,
do you have any?
you weren't in physics?
No, I didn't do
For
physics.
some reason, I remembered him being in physics.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't do physics.
Yeah.
I like how we say physics and methods are the hard subjects, when in reality they're probably like...
They're just average.
Yeah, they're just average subjects.
Nah, physics was hard. I remember physics, you get asked a question, it's like, it's really like those jokes. It's like, oh, here's a car that's stationary and you crash into it at 5 kilometers an hour. What's the weight of the moon? Yeah, you just have to pull it out of thin air.
I remember once I knew like physics wasn't it for me, but it was towards the end of our like study where I'm just like, oh, you gotta use like what you learned in chapter 1 to apply to like chapter 11. It's like, well, bro, I'm just focusing on this chapter. Why would I focus on chapter 1? But that's where we fell short. And
Man, physics, I was just thinking about like the Bunsen burner.
The Bunsen burner.
I wasn't even up to the physics part yet. I think it was actually Sandy that he was the
wow,
one
you're
that-
really close to him.
Yeah. My good friend. Wasn't
You're a
it?
choke buddy.
No, I don't know if it was methods or physics, but apparently he drew a bear, a giant bear, on his exam sheet, and then on one of the pages he wrote like a few paragraphs that our teacher never told us, and he submitted it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Did you know he did that?
No, I didn't know he did that. It definitely wasn't methods, though. He didn't do methods, so
So maybe it was physics.
had to
No,
be
it must.
physics.
Unless I'm thinking of someone else.
No, I remember him being in physics.
Yeah,
So
maybe it was physics.
it was definitely physics then. Wow. Because yeah, our teacher was.
I hope I'm not thinking of someone else, because then he might come to me.
Oh, yeah, by the way, Sandy, come in.
Okay.
We're gonna have one wrestle off.
Table right here.
If you could go to like because I think we're building up this podcast to have a 10-year reunion eventually. Who's the first person you're gonna go to when everyone's reunited?
Oh man.
Like teacher, student, who would you go back to?
Okay, so if everyone that was at school, were
Yeah,
really-
every single person. Mr. Marzi.
Yeah, I'll say,
Yeah.
I want to see how Mr. doing. Yeah, see if he even remembers.
Oh.
Me. Yeah.
Hello, Nicky.
Oh,
Claim.
now that I'm actually out of school, I can square up.
You want to tell that story though?
Oh well, yeah, I can tell the story.
This is how we knew Nickys from the ghetto as well. The inner Mowbray continues to
the
come
funny
out.
thing was, your guest last week had probably the same amount of beef that I had with him. And like, I think.
Oh really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Therese was one of them ones as well. Like that would argue with him. But I remember, I don't know. I think I just wasn't having it on this particular day.
Yeah.
And so, I guess to paint the picture, the way the science rooms were, it was 2 rows of tables, and you could sit 3 on a table.
Yeah.
But we just so happened to have, it was me on one table, and I think there was 3 or 2 of our friends were behind me.
Yeah.
So I finished whatever work we had to do, and then I turned around to talk to them, and then Mr. comes up to me, like right up to where my chair is,
Yeah.
and then he's telling me like, oh,
Nicholas.
he's just like,
Or how hair?
You sound Chinese.
Lori, I'm Chinese.
well, yeah,
He was
so-
Chinese in my head.
yeah. Oh, is that how you remember him?
Yeah,
Oh,
keep
yeah.
going.
Well, he comes up to me and then he's just like, oh, I can't do it seriously.
Yeah, but
But I'm not going to do the accent because I won't get through the story. But basically, he went up to me and he's just like, oh, Nicholas, why aren't you doing your work? And for some reason, that just pissed me off. So I turned around and I just stood up and I'm face to face with him.
yeah.
Pretty much just squared up with him. And I think as I was standing up, I said to him like, I did the work, man. And as I stood up, I'm like squaring up with him now. Like my fists were down.
So
But I was like squared up.
everyone in the class stop and look?
I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
what.
It was in the moment.
Because it kind of went slow motion. Because as I stood, like as I said it, and then I was face to face with him. In that same moment,
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, what the hell am I gonna do? Like I'm not gonna punch a teacher or something." So I sat back down.
Did he talk to you afterwards?
No, I don't know. He probably made a comment. He probably made a
Probably
comment.
shat his pants.
Nah, he probably made some sort of comment like, "Freaking Asian."
Jeez. I don't know how much.
Cut that out. I don't want to paint him as like a racist.
We're gonna cut out his name.
right.
I don't think we can include
Yeah,
it.
we'll cut out his
You
name.
guys are bad.
What's wrong with his name?
You're making it hard. I gotta keep editing this, man. Come on.
Okay,
That's a fair enough name, though.
Well, that's what we called him.
Yeah.
So.
Each edit, it's just gonna take a day and a day longer. Well, I think.
Hold on, we got to uncut.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
There you go. We're back. I think we've got. This is our longest episode.
Yeah.
And it has been a pleasure to have, I would say, one of my closest friends on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
If Kevin died,
If I died.
you'd be probably my best friend.
Damn, that's a bit cold.
So you want me to die?
I'm joking. Sorry. No, we appreciate you a lot, and then, you know, one of the things I was saying with Therese, I can't believe, like these Mowbray kids became like our closest friends, because there's been some people that have been at high school with us for ages, but you guys just impacted our lives. You know, you guys are good people. You have any ending remarks, Kev?
Yeah, we're going to leave you on one final question. If you could go back, I kind of butchered the question. What's the question again?
If you could say one thing to your
That's
younger
right.
self, we ask this to every guest because I'm curious. What advice would you give your younger self? Young Nicky.
Set my alarm for 7:30.
Yeah. Probably. Start setting alarms.
Start setting alarms when early.
Yeah.
That's your thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Honestly, I think I would try and drill in the whole punctuality thing. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why do you think you're always late though?
I blame it on my Filipino genes. No, you know what? I feel like
It's
I feel
because
like
you're
the whole-
half, isn't it?
Nah, but I feel like the bus thing enabled me to be late as well,
Yeah.
because I knew that
It was there.
as long as you guys saw me running down the street, the bus driver would stop. Whereas if he just kept driving every time,
Yeah.
then I would have no option but to be on time.
So really, it's Ross's fault that why you're late.
Yeah, bring him on.
I can't realize you were playing Russian roulette with the bus every morning.
Yeah,
In a way.
that's why I missed the most days in year 12, because
You would miss it
if I miss the
you're
bus, like
late.
I'm not coming to school.
But you came year 9, 10. Oh, because
Yeah,
your sister.
Your sister
wasn't-
woke you up.
Yeah, and then once it was just me, it was like,
It's over.
yeah,
Okay.
All right.
that's what I would say to myself.
Anything else, Kev?
On that note, I think we should call it. It's
It
been
is.
a very long episode, this
It
one.
has been. And
Hey, but hey, you're
what
a natural
treat.
speaker.
You are.
You know,
Yeah,
what,
very
you know what
good.
I'll say?
Yeah.
You know what I'll say? I remember before I came on, you were saying, "Oh, it's different." Like when you're in the room with the cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, it kind of is.
Yeah, you got to put on a front, and I think a lot of people aren't prepared for it. But I would say you're
Yeah.
quite a natural speaker, man.
No, I mean, because usually I'm a racist, but
Yeah, I tend to agree with that.
Now I'm up to 5 days of editing at this point.
but it's actually true.
Yeah. Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it today?
Yeah, I just enjoyed hanging out with you.
Yeah. Oh, you
But
did
but
too.
I feel like as well, it's like it's a different setting to where we would usually hang out. Like
That's true.
the way we would usually talk is probably a lot more stupid and maybe a bit more
Loose.
informal. But
Yeah.
but I guess it's cool to give insight into.
Yeah, give the viewers
mind.
value, man. You gave a lot of value today.
Yeah,
Thank you.
hopefully there was some value. Hopefully you don't
course.
leave with
Yeah, of
with
course,
AIDS
of
or
course. But yeah, thanks everyone. I'm getting cooked at this point.
Thanks everyone. Fingers
for-
crossed our audio good. We're very sorry about our recent audio issues.
Yeah, look at that back-to-back guests, Kevin.
Yeah, back to
We're
back.
blowing up.
Different room.
Comment down below, and you know, we'd love to have anyone on the podcast. And we're gonna keep trying to give you guys some sort of entertainment. We thank you for always listening. Like and subscribe. Listen to the podcast on Spotify, and yeah, you know.
say the thing.
Thanks everyone.
What did I say?
What'd you say?
Oh yeah, that's it. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Stay safe, stay blessed, and practice
Practice gratitude.